All right, guys, we're live. Facebook, YouTube. Coach Ken said he was here first. I saw him in the YouTube portal. Glad to have you with us, Coach Ken. James Washington is on board, says he can't wait for the show to start, so we're live. And by the way, we're going to do two shows this week, just like last week, Tuesday and Thursday night. I might sneak on a little bit tomorrow night, depending on how eventful tomorrow signing day is. And that's some of what we're going to talk about on the show tonight. I'm sure a lot of you have a lot of recruiting questions. Let's wait for everybody to get in here and we'll get rolling. As always, do me a favor. Much appreciative for every one of you guys that when y'all come into the chat, y'all hit the like button, whether you're on YouTube or Facebook. Share it on your Facebook timeline. Sure a bunch of your Facebook friends are also LSU fans and might enjoy some football recruiting, some football discussion. Of course, not only do we have the second signing period that begins tomorrow, but earlier today, of course, Will Wade had a press conference this morning, which didn't get near the hits on our YouTube channel, is Ed Orgeron introducing all the new defensive assistants. So we can talk about that and what you guys thought of some of those introductions and how those new coaches came off. I think all of them went off very well. Enjoyed them getting Austin Thomas in there at the end. So I think there's a lot of positive. I think a lot of LSU fans, just based on the comments I've seen on our YouTube channel and on our Tiger Den premium message board, a lot of LSU fans seem to be excited and think those guys won the press conference very much so like Jake Peets and DJ Mangus did weeks ago. So a lot of excitement. I don't know if tomorrow's going to be very eventful. And honestly, I think I'm okay with that. I like the idea of LSU holding back spots for the transfer and grad transfer portal. This is the new normal. And you've got a bunch of new coaches on that staff. Get going into spring football. Find that linebacker that Ed Orgeron keeps talking about. If you need a corner, if you need an offensive lineman, hold on to two or three of those spots and use them. I think there's some guys there on the board that we'll talk about that certainly are good football players. But if LSU ends up with one of the three tomorrow, and of course I have McNemar and Jones as, I'm not even those guys in the discussion. Those guys will be automatics tomorrow. But whether it's Logan Diggs, Cole Lord, of course we broke the news yesterday that he had gotten the offer from LSU on the phone call. A lot of scuttlebutt out there on that. Talked to his dad earlier this evening before I put out a war room at 7 o'clock. You need to go to TigerBait and subscribe to get the very latest in our recruiting war room that I put up. Do yourself a favor. Like I always say, choose the annual package. You save a lot of money. You basically get 3 months of TigerBait free for a year. And a bunch of you guys have been taking that advice and grabbing the annual package on TigerBait, which gets you our text alerts. As the signings come tomorrow or any breaking news, I'll be sending you text alerts tomorrow on National Signing Day to premium subscribers. And I'll be on our message board, our premium message board, the Tiger Den, all day tomorrow. Not going to sleep much tonight probably, even though I think it's going to be a light day tomorrow. But we can talk about that. So, look, you guys have peppered me with a bunch of questions. Let me see if we can get through a bunch of them. As always, Pride Roofing is our sponsor for the show, each and every show, and very much appreciative to them. And by the way, our show last Thursday night with Buddy Sanji looked like it set some records. So a lot of you guys enjoyed the Bud Man being in here, and he's going to come back Thursday night. So Buddy Sanji, all I had to do was break the ice with Buddy. And of course, Buddy's a talk show legend, the original longest running talk show guy in Baton Rouge. Still quick as can be on the fly, and a lot of you enjoyed him. The comments on our YouTube channel, a lot of you loved Buddy being here in the TigerBait studio. So we'll have him back here Thursday night. All right, let's see. Jared James Smith, love the new coaches. I agree. Look, I think, just going down the line, Orgeron, I think he's enjoying him as well. You could just tell that he could. But Durante Jones came across very well. I like some of the things he had to say. He's got a great personality, very much likable people person. Blake Baker, I thought, him and his Louisiana ties, wife from the North Shore, having coached at Tech, I think that's going to be a big plus for LSU. I liked a lot of what all of them had to say. I think some of these guys are going to be some excellent recruiters. It's just my thought. Blake Baker said something that I've always said. More than half the battle is done for you as an LSU assistant coach when you walk into a high school, and hopefully we can get back to those days sooner rather than later, when you're wearing that purple polo with the LSU logo on it. That brand does most of the work for an assistant coach. So really a lot of it in recruiting is effort, personality, and doing your homework and knowing who the right people to talk to. But Blake Baker let it be known, particularly since he was at Louisiana Tech, he knows how big LSU is in this state, and having had to recruit against LSU, not really recruit against them, but knowing how big it is in the state after visiting so many Louisiana high schools. The LSU polo shirt on his back absolutely helps sell it for him. And then what can you say about Andre Carter? Andre Carter, the defensive line coach, if they let the media in at spring football, when they let us in the gate, the first guy I'm going to the unit I'm going to is defense, because I want to see him. I want to see him coach. And the defensive line coach, former NFL player, 12 years in the NFL, whatever, it was 11, 12. 12 years, I think. I'm anxious to see him out there. I like him a lot, of course. And then Austin Thomas. We've got all those videos, the full interviews on TigerBait. That's a free item. If you're on Facebook or if you've seen us on YouTube, you see it in the feed. All those videos are in full for you to watch from earlier today. And we've got it linked on the front page at tigerbait.com. So you guys, let me know what you think. Did any of you have any qualms or something you didn't like about what somebody had to say? I know a lot of people wondering about whether they're going to 3-4 or be multiple front. And it was reiterated several times today that they're 4-3. So, but they're going to do some unique things. But that's one thing that they mentioned was wanting to have those defensive ends in a 4-3 and really using, Ali Gay and Anthony and Ojulari to the best of their abilities in a 4-3 scheme. Charles Bachelor, any surprises in store tomorrow? Brian Thomas, his dad, said earlier today that he would not be signing tomorrow. And I put out a war room at about 7 o'clock, and before then I followed up, and that still was indeed the case. I don't know if that's going to change maybe while we're on the show tonight or an hour from now or first thing in the morning, and he does do something. But as of right now, he's not going to sign tomorrow. There's a lot of stuff on message boards, social media about who's the decision maker, who's asserting themselves in that whole decision making process, and maybe it's me getting a little cranky with age, but I'm getting and it's unfortunate because I think if Brian Thomas himself absolutely can make the decision 100% on his own, he would have committed to LSU a long time ago. I honestly believe that. So I don't know what's going on with the dad and what he needs to see or what the issue is, but it's a shame for the kid, and I think that's probably why coaches out there of all the schools involved are sticking with him while some of us on the outside looking in are saying, man, just, first of all, it's a position that this state has a bunch of wide receivers, and just move on. But I think that the coaches aren't wired that way. That's why they get paid the big bucks, and they're going to stick it out and see how it plays out. But it's going to be very interesting. Cole Lord talked to his dad earlier this evening. Of course, he's from Brentwood, California. Got the offer yesterday. I've been writing about him. Most of the other sites didn't even have them in their database. I've been writing stories about Cole Lord for about a year. His father, Blaine's been a TigerBait subscriber since the very beginning from New Iberia. It's really a great story, but Blaine's a super guy, author, wrote a book, Born on the Bayou. Anyways, Cole is, I think, a very underrated quarterback. And when I talked to him last night, and I kind of held on to the story, I wasn't going to do two stories because I thought there might have been a possibility he might have made a commitment today, but he's been making calls all day to all the coaches involved that have recruited him. And I think that they were seeing tonight if Vanderbilt was going to call with an offer. I don't know if that conversation has been had yet. He's supposed to make a decision, I think, at 3 o'clock our time tomorrow. So we'll see what happens with Cole Lord. I know there's been some conjecture out there. Is there a blue shirt attached to that? A lot of that stuff is just dizzying. I think there's a lot of people trying to parse words and been working the phones all day long. So it is very interesting. But I don't know if that's going to be a surprise tomorrow. We'll see if Vanderbilt comes with the offer. The kid grew up in Tiger Stadium. Like I said, father's from New Iberia. It's really a unique story. He's actually Carrie Fisher's nephew, famous actress, of course, Princess Leia in the Star Wars movies. That's his niece. So his nephew, excuse me. So yeah, any surprises tomorrow? And then I think, look, Logan Diggs already signed with Notre Dame. He signed with Notre Dame in December. And the thought it was going to be if he would switch to LSU, they would petition the NCAA for a waiver. And the thought was he would get it. He was recruited by Terry Joseph, of course, was an former LSU Tiger. And he was on the staff with Les Miles in 2005. But he's now at Texas. He left Notre Dame for Texas. So the thought was that he would indeed get the waiver if he flips. This morning, Notre Dame source reached out to me, said Notre Dame staff felt very good about holding on to Diggs, and that was reiterated again this afternoon. I've got some more tidbits on that in the War Room that I posted. Check that out on tigerbait.com. So I think if it's going to be eventful tomorrow or any surprises, it'll be either Brian Thomas decides to go ahead and sign, and I think if Brian has his way, it would be LSU. We'll see how that plays out. Does he end up doing something Thursday or Friday? I don't know. It's going to be interesting to see here in the coming days. And then what happens with Cole Lord. So, and then I like the idea, like I said earlier in the show, holding on to those spots. All right. Joseph Guillotte. Gilbert will not do good in Florida with Emory Jones. Look, Gilbert, it's a sticky situation. He's got some stuff to work out off the field, and as soon as he made the announcement that he was committed to Florida, I started getting messages, okay, now can we stop talking in coded language? What is really the deal with him? And look, I don't think some of that stuff is a sticky situation, but bottom line, he needs to get his act together. He needs to get his act together off the field. Rayshawn Davis, USC bound. Yeah, I think so. Esteban, he says he's excited about LSU finishing strong tomorrow. I think LSU finishes strong with the transfer portal. But right now, I like what they signed in December. And look, the early signing period has really made the second signing period, which was the usual signing period, kind of uneventful depending on how many spots a team has open. But I don't know that it's going to be a big day for LSU tomorrow. Blaine Smith, like I said, where's Brian Thomas Jr. signing? I think if it's up to Brian, it would be LSU. We'll see how that plays out. That's a good question. Gerard Bryant, or is it, Gerard Bryant? Hey, Mike, will the new defensive coordinator be on the sideline? I missed that. Was that asked of him this morning? That's a good question. I don't know if he's an on the field, a sideline guy, or if he's going to be up in the booth. If he was asked that question and I missed it in his presser, let me know. But I didn't get that answer this morning. I missed it. Charles Bachelor, what linebackers in the portal is Coach O talking to? There's some names out there. You know, the thing about the transfer portal is I don't have access to it. There's a coaching staff out there that is giving other guys access to their info and how that gets relayed. And it's, I think there's more names out there than what's showing up on message boards. I'll just leave it at that. Dorian Starkey, I know that Will Campbell's a stud, but what do you think about the potential of Ben Bordelon? Bo Bordelon. Ben is the father, former LSU Tiger. I think Bo Bordelon is about 255 pounds right now, and I joked with him Sunday night when I reached out to him after the news, when we broke the news on TigerBait that he committed. And I think they were going into a restaurant to eat. I said, well, man, I said, you know, between you and Will Campbell, neither one of you guys are really carrying bad weight. I said, it seemed, and of course, Will's at about 285, 290 at about 6'6". Bo's 6'6", 255. And so now all they really have to do is work out and eat all the calories they want. And I imagine the goal for Bo each day is to try and get 6,000 to 8,000 calories in him and lift weights. He's not going to play. He's not playing basketball for Newman. Might do some discus, I think his dad said, but we'll see. It's going to be strictly football for him and lots of weight gain. So we'll see how he puts it on. Ben told me that he was the exact same weight as Bo at that age, and we know how Ben ended up being a fantastic offensive lineman for LSU in the early to mid 90s. So unfortunately for Ben and Jamie Howard, and of course now their sons are committed in the same class. They were on some bad Curly Hallman football teams. All right. Esteban. Love the mindset, attitude, and willing to work together of the new coaches. Future is bright and trending in the right directions. Look, even when you have championship teams, and even if LSU was coming off a 9-3 or a 10-2, or 10 games, let's say it was 8-2 or a 9-1, it's always good to infuse your staff with some new talent every now and then. I think you usually you get in trouble in programs when you have a lot of staffers there that are there for too long and things can get stale. So I like the infusion of the new guys. Mike McNemar, Arch won't become an LSU. You know that for sure, Mike? I think depending on what happens with Cole Lord tomorrow, there's been talk for, I guess, the last 6 months that in the class of 2022, LSU would try and sign 2 quarterbacks. I think that is now down to 1, that they'll only take Walker Howard. So depending on attrition, transfer portal, and how things look after that, does all of a sudden the class of 23 become a 2 quarterback class? Or if it goes the way they would like it to go, you just sign 1 every year. I think it never goes according to plan. But right now the decision is 1 for 22, which makes me think 23 could end up being a 2 quarterback class. And look, you've got Ricky Collins out there that I always talk about that's going to be recruited, and I think it's going to get some nice offers. You got Holstein at Zachary, of course, that has an LSU offer. Arch Manning's got an offer. You got the Mooney kid at Denham. Of course, they'll recruit nationally. And hopefully this June's camp will be as loaded with quarterbacks as the quarterback camp 2 years ago at LSU. That was the best quarterback camp, best group of quarterbacks I've ever seen at an LSU camp in over 20 years. So hopefully that goes back to being that way. And no doubt if the camps, and I think they will be back open again, they're going to want to get as many quarterbacks from all those years on campus to get familiar with Jake Peets and Mangus and all those guys on the LSU offensive side of the ball. Colin D'Angelo, obviously, and those guys will be working the phones. Sal Runfalo, and forgive me if I'm saying it wrong. Is Coach Robinson still an analyst? As far as I know, I haven't heard anything on that. I think he's going to stay that as long as he wants. Pretty confident in that prediction about Arch. I think the thing with Arch Manning is it depends on what's the outlook of the quarterbacks, who's looking like they're going to be an all-SEC performer, and where can he see the field. How notable is the LSU coaching performances. And but make no mistake about it, Arch and Bo are good friends. We'll see what happens with A.J. Johnson from Newman. He was going to announce on Monday, decided to pull back from that, the wide receiver for 22. I think had he done it on Monday, it might have been Georgia, but we'll see. But Arch Manning, I think, likes LSU a lot more than people think. And I think it's going to depend on who's the coaches where, who needs a quarterback. But I do think he'll be an SEC quarterback. Jared James Smith, Perry Thomas, and Bradford are huge for depth. Yeah, and we talk about that every week. I think Anthony Bradford is, of those three, the guy that's most likely to see the field, followed by Thomas Perry, and then Cardell's in third right now, based on everything I can gather. So I think this spring is absolutely vital for those guys to make a stamp on their future. It's now their third year in the program. I get the injuries, but let's start living up to the ranking out of high school. That's what I say. Bayou Bingo, Mike, is LSU in the lead for Emory Jones in the offensive line from Washington State. We're working on a story on the kid from Washington State who's going back and forth with Walker Howard and Will Campbell and those guys. And Emory Jones, no doubt. Bo laughed and joked in that in one of the quotes in my commitment story Sunday night that they were already burning up Emory's phone. Those guys all play PS5 together and compete. And so I like where LSU sits with Emory Jones. And look, he is a fantastic football and a fantastic program. For TITA, of course, they won another state championship at Catholic High. I think their new workout facility opens this week. I've seen the shell and the bones and some of the picture of that. What a facility at Catholic High School. I joked with Coach Fertitta, I wanted to buy a gym membership. I'll gladly forego my LA Fitness membership for a gym membership to the new Catholic High weight room. Let's see. Carl Dunn, Carl the Cat. Great job as always, Mike. All right, Carl, appreciate you being in with us, and thanks for the kind words. Who are we getting on signing day? You must have just got in, but that's okay. Brian Thomas, as of now, is not going to sign tomorrow. That can change. We're going to wait to see on Cole Lord. I know he's supposed to have a conversation with Vanderbilt tonight, according to his Twitter, and it can always change. As of now, he's going to make an announcement, I think, at 3 o'clock our time. I think he said 1 o'clock Pacific. So we'll see 3 o'clock his decision if he keeps that timetable, and I think Logan Diggs will stick with Notre Dame. And so if LSU ends up with only one tomorrow or none tomorrow, I think it's a positive. I don't think it's a reason for LSU fans to melt down at all. Absolutely, it's a positive to hold on to these scholarship spots and use them on transfers in the grad transfer portal. This is the new normal, and it's better to find some guys that you need, and particularly now that you've got new coaches on the staff that need to assess what they're working with. Knock on wood, there's no catastrophic injuries during spring football. If there is and you need immediate help, it's going to be good to have that spot open. So we'll see how it plays out tomorrow. Zachary Shirley, Brian Thomas's dad wants the bag man to show up. Yeah, I'm going to keep on trucking on that one, Zachary. Let's see. Christopher McKenzie, do you think Devonta Lee will play this year? I think Devonta needs to find a spot. I think his spot, of course, I need to see what he looks like right now. But, I mean, he was getting big coming out of high school. And I think he should have been on the defensive side of the ball the day he arrived at LSU. But I'd like to see what he can do if he at linebacker. And let's see what happens there. But, what is his weight right now? I'd like to know, because he's a kid. I think he's going to keep getting muscular with age. He's just built that way. And I don't know if the heights and weights on LSUsports.net, if those are accurate. Dorian Starkey, how many running backs will LSU sign in 22? Well, you got the kid at Lake Charles Prep that's got an offer now. You got Trevor Ettiene at Jennings, who I saw this past season. It's Sicilian filmed. Absolutely fantastic. If you saw the video I shot of him that night, unbelievable. And then Le'Veon Moss at Estruma, who I shot against Broadmoor on a Thursday night. Thankfully, when I filmed him, there was good and bad. They were beating Broadmoor, I think 28-0 before the first quarter was over. I think maybe there was a little disciplinary deal, so he missed his offensive series. He had to sit out an offensive series. So luckily, when he did get to play, he had a couple of touchdowns called back due to some, I don't know, holding calls that really had anything to do with his touchdown runs. So there, I think he had like, I don't know, 8 carries and like 4 of them were for touchdowns on my video clip. The kid is insane. And so I like where LSU is. I think LSU leads for both Etienne and Le'Veon Moss, particularly Le'Veon Moss. And Ed Orgeron has done a fantastic job with Trevor Etienne, and he's going to be a beast. And like I've said on this show several times, I got a lot of friends in Jennings, and a lot of them go to every Jennings home game because it's what you do in a town the size of Jennings. And there's a lot of people in that city that know football who think he's better than his older brother. He's a different running back. He's about 212, 215 pounds, but they think he's a better back. So LSU is not going to have a problem at that spot. Savion Jones. I'm not. Glenn, you got Savion Jones. Wish LSU did that with Travis Etienne. No doubt. LSU absolutely dropped the ball. I was standing there on the sideline when Travis ran out during that June camp to be tested in the 40, and I think they, punted some balls up in the air to see how he did fielding punts, and they didn't offer him. I was standing right there. The kid was mad. Then, of course, we know the rest of the story. Matt Canada got hired in December, saw his tape. It was too late. I don't think he liked Jabbar Jalouk, who was recruiting him. I don't think they got along. That didn't go well, and it was just a mess. And then Clemson, fresh off a national championship, brings him in for a visit. I want to say it was the weekend they had their parade for their national championship, and the rest is history. But I think Trevor, I think it's a different story. So we'll see how that plays out for him. Ryan Thibodeau, Trevor greater than Travis. Saw him play in the 8th grade. Yeah, I think, look, Travis is your straight ahead speed back guy, but his brother's probably got 15 pounds on him, and he's a power guy. But it's always tricky when you watch Jennings because they run that veer offense. But so you have to imagine what you can do with them once they get into an offense like LSU's. James Washington, good comment. This 22 class should be dominated by Louisiana kids. I absolutely agree. I talk about it every week. Louisiana is stacked for the class of 2022. And I also think now in this day and age of the transfer portal, I think you're much more likely to hold on to a kid who's from, and I'm just going to make up names, if he's from St. Martinville, Louisiana, or Jeanerette, or Manny, wherever. If he's from those towns, he's more likely to stick it out because there's more pressure on him to do the right thing, and there's going to be a lot of disappointed people back home in Franklinton or wherever, Buras. I'm making up names where we hadn't had players in a while. If he goes home and having left the team and he's leaving for somewhere else, than it is if you take a kid from California who likes to get all the attention on Twitter. So let's see. Ryan Hopkins, can we carry over unused scalps from the year next year? No, you can't carry them over, but you can use them. You can use them for grad transfers, and you can use them for transfers, and I think that's going to be what LSU plans to do. Of course, we're still waiting to see LSU's self-imposed sanctions, which only counts to the 85, not the 25. If the NCAA is going to lock that in and accept that, hopefully they do. But no, you can't carry them over. It's not like you can sign 15 this year and then next year sign 35. It doesn't work that way. Yeah, Acadiana Wrecking Rams. Yeah, man, defensive end, I've been getting calls about him, a month, months, all throughout the football season. And of course, ends up getting the offer from Alabama, commits, and everybody's just wondering, he's got to get his grades in order. So we're going to see how that plays out. Welch, of course, is already committed to LSU. But it's amazing the Lafayette area, Acadiana, what you call the Acadiana parishes, as to what that it's starting to really pick up. Now we're just waiting to see. I was remarking to somebody the other day, when is Brobridge going to have somebody? Brobridge has had a dry spell. I'm sure some of you guys are in the St. Martin Parish area. When is Brobridge going to come back with some LSU prospects for us to follow? St. Martinville, obviously their football team's gotten better, but Brobridge, man, it's been a while. Come on. But yeah, we're seeing Acadiana with players, of course, Lafayette Christian, St. Thomas More, Westgate. They've got them all out there. So Lafayette area is absolutely producing some talent. Jim Milano, kid from California who likes attention on Twitter. Oh, no, I'm not associating a name with that one. Ryan Thibodeau, Acadiana's rich, and those guys have been running that system. Got some good coaches on that staff at Acadiana, Wrecking Rams, state championships, and no doubt. Let's see. Tony Williams, Turlings Catholic, puts out a lot. Tony, did you graduate from Turlings? Let's see. Yeah, AYS, Franklinton in the house. Yeah, and that's something that me and Blake have talked about. And he's been making me laugh on the phone with some stories about Brandon Taylor and his dad. And now I need to get Brandon in here, and I really want to meet his dad after hearing the Kurt Taylor stories. You got to do that, by the way, Blake. You need to get Brandon Taylor or his dad or both of them on your show at the same time. Let's see. All right, guys. Oh, man, I got to talk about Pride Roofing. Of course, Mike Faraday, Alex Martinez, located in Albany, Louisiana. I was out there, like I said, 3 weeks ago. Got over 100 roofs worth of shingles in their yard. They make their own flashing. The flashing that most roofing companies use on homes. As soon as you put a wood ladder up against it, or any type of ladder, it's going to end up bending it. They make their own that'll dent your ladder rather than bend and break your shingles. But they've got a promo right now. We've had several people jump on the Pride Roofing special. If you call them for your free roofing inspection, you will get, and if they come out and give you the free roofing inspection, and you told them you saw it on TigerBait.com, they will give you 1 year of TigerBait.com for free. You'll get premium TigerBait for 1 year free if you call Pride Roofing. And you call the number right there, 225-275-2041. Say you saw it on TigerBait.com, and you will get TigerBait Premium for 1 year. They foot the bill just to come out and give you a free roofing inspection. We've had multiple people already jump on it that are excited about that. And they've got you covered all along I-10. If you're in Sulphur, Lake Charles, Jennings, Baton Rouge, Gulfport, the North Shore in a big way, Covington, everywhere in St. Tammany, Madisonville, Covington, the works. They've got you covered. Livingston Parish, all the way up into the lower part of Mississippi, north of Clinton. You call Pride Roofing. Mike Faraday and that group are the best in the business. They have the best warranty on their labor, over 5 years on their labor warranty. Commercial as well as resident. I know with the way I talk about it, you mostly just think for your home, but it's also for your commercial business. You got a commercial building, or you've got any type of storage facility that's got a roofing issue, they can take care of you. And these are actually guys that are contractors, licensed, bonded, and these guys have actually been on roofs and are contractors and have wielded hammers, and they're not just subbing it out to other people. Call Mike Faraday. I grew up with him, and graduate of Broadmoor. He's an LSU grad. And Pride Roofing, absolutely give them a call. Get your free 1 year of TigerBait from them. They're footing the bill to come out and give you a free roofing inspection, Pride Roofing. And I've got a link in the description to click on their website. But be sure to tell them you saw it on tigerbait.com. So please do me a favor, y'all, whether you're on YouTube or Facebook. I say it at the beginning of the show, I'm going to say it again now. Hit the like button. Please share. Very much appreciated. Let's see. Rusty Meyer, best wide receiver in the state next year. Shazz, ibieta, boy, I want to see him. Look, there's some good ones next year. There's a debate with Kendrick Law up in Shreveport, and whether he's going to be a defensive player or a wide receiver. I think he's a heck of an athlete, and he can do either one. But Aaron Anderson from Carr, I love, and I keep saying he's Josh Reed 2.0, and that's the comparison I'm going to go with. But Shazz is fantastic. I watch Shazz press and run routes, and he runs the best routes. Well coached at St. James. His dad's very much involved, and of course his older brother's at Mississippi State. He's one to watch. So wide receivers, again, athletes, you've got your share. You got Dakotas Crawford. But yeah, no, there's some good ones. My favorite right now is Aaron Anderson. And I've been working on my rankings, and I've been playing around with him. But boy, I really do love me some Aaron Anderson. Let's see. Joseph Guillotte, Bryce Anderson, number 2 safety, and Allen, number 4 safety, decommitted. Look, we'll see what happens there. I'm not worried about defensive backs and athletes and safeties. LSU is going to get theirs. This state just has too much talent. That is not a blow to LSU, regardless of how highly ranked those guys are. Bryce Anderson's been out there since he was committed LSU, talking about other schools, tweeting about his offers. You just knew it was a matter of time. And of course, the thoughts now is A&M, so we'll see on him. All right, guys. Let's see. All right, man. I'm going to wrap it up. I went a little over almost 40 minutes tonight. Check us out at tigerbait.com. Go TigerBait Premium. Choose the annual. Basically gives you 3 months free with that. Pride Roofing, much thanks to Mike Faraday and Alex, again, for being the official roofing company of tigerbait.com. I might pop on tomorrow if there's something eventful. If you're a subscriber to TigerBait, be sure to go to our message board and turn on your text alerts so you'll get the breaking news alerts immediately to your cell phone. I don't spam with that. I only send the important stuff to you. So tigerbait.com, thanks all for joining us. We'll be back here for sure Thursday night. Buddy Sanji will be on the other side of the table. So much thanks to all of you being a part of the show tonight. And